What's the dark side of being an affiliate marketer?
Well, since you're your own boss and you're risking your own money, you might have some nights where you don't sleep so well because you never know what happens. Especially at the beginning, I know I had a few situations where you just like wake up all of a sudden at like 5 a.m. when you usually want to wake up at 8 a.m. and you're thinking, is my campaign still alive? And then you just cannot go back to sleep. So
You have to check
Yeah, you have to
yourself.
just check something and see what's going on. And sometimes it actually happens that it's bad, so like it reinforces that you need to, be online a bit too often. But nowadays there are tools that help with that. Like if campaign performance drops, you can drop spend and things like that. So that's good these days. Aside from that, yeah, I think that's the biggest one. Just being able to manage the risk and keep yourself, keep your mind fresh and not like worry too much about it, because you're on your own in a way. Well, actually, you're pretty much on your own, and not everyone wants you to succeed like at all because you're competing against other affiliates. So, being able to, keep your mind fresh and focused and everything like that through the worst times as well, because they're gonna happen.
What boundaries did you set for yourself when you were doing affiliate marketing?
Not so much. Like I just I worked as hard as I could to make it work. So
Yeah.
I didn't have any specific. I didn't have in mind anything that has to do like, okay, so how much should I work, or where do I stop, or when is it too much? But then, yeah, over time it was more like, okay, so if something after, I don't have an exact amount of time, but let's say after a month, if it's not somewhat sustainable, or that it still creates like a lot of discomfort and sleepless nights in some way, then it's probably not ideal to continue with it. So there's when it comes to affiliate marketing, there are campaigns and offers that you can build sustainably, and there's some that need babysitting all the time, and they're not really healthy for you. So maybe the boundary would be create something a little bit more sustainable. Think about it, even though it takes a little bit longer to build it. Kind of, that's the main one.
And from within the industry, were there verticals or techniques you were like, okay, I'm staying out of it, it's too much for me?
So I never touched anything that had to do with adult. Not really something against it, just seemed like, okay, if there's no reason to, seems like not the most appealing one. Some people really like it, so then it's like you can kind of see like, okay, you're not competing against each other, so that's a funny thing. But that's the only one essentially. And was there anything else? Well, I mostly did apps and sweeps, and the other things it wasn't so much so that, oh, I don't want to touch it ever or anything. It more like, this works, we're gonna do more of what works. But the adult one was the only one that was thinking like, it's not really one that comes on top of the options, but mostly because I think it's just explaining to people what you do, then that's the one that's harder to explain overall.
So Manu, a poker wizard? Would you call yourself that?
No. I used to play quite a bit, but not a wizard. It wasn't that good. I know people who were that good though.
What is riskier, poker or affiliate marketing?
I think it's poker, to be honest. There are still many lessons that you can apply in affiliate marketing and in life in general, but I think the main issue with poker is that it can become more addictive, and so it's still gambling if you don't control your emotions, and if you don't manage your money properly, you can lose way more, and it's much more addictive, I think, than affiliate marketing, because it's a game. It's made to be, I don't want to say it's made to be addictive, but games can be addictive. Like the adrenaline rush in it is, you get like the rewards quicker. So I think that's the danger of it mostly. And
but
I know
don't you have that also in affiliate marketing? The rush of the first positive ROI, of the first campaign profiting. There are steps there that can give you the same feeling, I guess.
Yeah, but they take longer to end up happening. Like with poker, like every hand can do that. So that's like, depending on what you do, there are online formats where you can pay like, how many hands? Like 1,000 hands an hour if you 4 table or so. So imagine the rush that you can get when doing that, compared to affiliate marketing, where it's like you spend 1 or 2 days setting up the campaign, then it takes 6 to 24 hours to get approval. It's like that rush is not as huge as when every time chips fly on the table, like so many times an hour.
What was the best $100 you spent in your career?
$100?
100 euros?
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking like something that's... Nothing exactly comes to mind right now. It's just like, it's probably something that I use all the time somewhere. Maybe like the keyboard that I use all the time. It's like I haven't changed it for 6+ years. But I have something that's less than $100 that I know for sure. I said like, this must be the best money ever spent. So from Vienna, I traveled one time to Prague, and generally, when you travel by train, you don't really think about reserving a seat. But this time I was like, there should be a lot of people around, so I'll spend the extra €3 to make sure I have a seat. And it was so full that I was like, this must be the best €3 ever spent, because I could sit down for 4 to 5 hours and work on my laptop. While
I was about to ask, did you do that during
and then everyone on the train was just like sitting, standing, and even people fighting a little bit with each other because there was some confusion with someone booked a different train with a reservation, and they wanted the seat in the next train that they took now with the same reservation with the seat, but they didn't have it. It's just a lot of chaos there. Of course, people not very happy about it, and I was like, well, this €3 let me work for 4 hours now on the way there. Best €3 ever spent.
Makes sense. What was the most precious or the most awesome thing you bought to yourself from the money you earned in affiliate marketing?
I didn't really
when you first made your serious money in the business?
I don't have that in affiliate marketing. I have that only for poker, to be honest, because once I started affiliate marketing, I was already pretty much, I kind of knew how much I want to spend on things and how much I don't want to spend. Like, what's my, like the first, in a way, affiliate marketing was not the first success on my own in a way, in that sense. So it wasn't like, okay, I have to reward myself now.
Okay.
So I only have from poker that I bought my first smartphone, like a Samsung Galaxy S3 when it just came out and stuff. That was pretty cool. But then for affiliate marketing, I don't have anything like that.
What was your most successful campaign ever?
So it was one, there are two that were pretty equal, I would say. And that started from the very beginning. And I call them successful because they might not have been the ones that made the most money in the end overall, but they were sustainable for a very long period. And that was battery saving apps on display. That was because it was completely non-misleading, very happy advertiser. We could consistently do around 300 to 400 profit per day with them, I think, maybe a little bit more in some good cases. And then when they started not being so appealing, then so like when the offer essentially, like the advertisers said, okay, we have enough, we don't want any more, we take it off the affiliate networks. Then same style, it was Android launcher, so you can customize how your Android looks a lot, and that was also like probably around a year, I would say. It also stayed as a live offer that just consistently delivers more than 3 figures profit per day really easily. Just had to refresh banners.
You're interested in psychology?
True.
Does it help you to create campaigns which convert more?
It can definitely help you quite a bit, but I think it helps more on the side of understanding the dynamics in the industry, who like what people care about in the industry specifically, what's in it for them. Like answering that question is a little bit more interesting for the psychology part of things. But of course, it does help you create a little bit better campaigns, because it helps you get into the shoes of the potential audience. And you have to keep in mind that depending on what products you advertise, there's a different type of audience, and psychology helps you. If you research enough, you realize, okay, how can you put yourself in those people's shoes? But I think there's psychology in general you can be interested in the things that are not really relevant for marketing. But if you look into things like influence, I think it's by Robert Cialdini. Then another very good book that helps understanding this is Dan Ariely. I forgot the book name right now, but it's on behavioral economics, and those things can help you. Like you can understand pricing, what people care about, what they don't care about. Those aspects of psychology are very useful for either if you have your own product or if you want to advertise other people's products.
So to conclude our talk, what's the advice you have for beginner affiliates, for people who are just starting out and want to be successful in it?
Well, it's such an it depends answer, because depending on where you're starting out, then you have different, if you start out with very stable financial situations, you can risk more. You can probably spend more money on, communities, educating yourself. If you have not so much money, you have to spend a lot of time. And then if you have certain skills that are useful, like coding skills are probably the best ones, the technical skills, the most useful ones, that can help you a lot. So I would have different advice, but in general is be very reflective of what you did. So kind of plan out what you're going to do. Let's say on day 1, you plan out what you're going to do. Then day 2, you execute it. But on day 3, you already start, like you reflect on what you did. So you look, okay, this is what I planned. This is what I did. This is what I expected to happen. And it didn't happen. So let me make sure that I don't do the same mistake again.
Adjust to the reality.
Adjust all the time to the reality, but be very methodical about it, and don't just assume that you remember things. Like write it down and plan it out and actually do it. Like don't rely on your memory for these sort of things, because we are very bad at doing that as humans.
Thanks so much for it.
You're welcome, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for visiting us.